area. Again, believed to be a stolen vehicle out of the Lakewood area. And this is a pursuit that has traversed the 710 freeway onto surface streets and to where you now see it in the Alhambra area. For quite a while, it was initiated by Lakewood Sheriff. They followed it up the 710 freeway with their Aero Bureau, but they were trying to get CHP to pick the pursuit up. That didn't exactly happen like they wanted. And so after he got off the 710 freeway at Valley in the Alhambra area, CHP said that they were not going to follow up on the pursuit. And so now Alhambra Police Department, we believe that's Alhambra Police Department that has picked up on this pursuit. There's 2 patrol vehicles and an unmarked in tow right now. But this individual, a couple of close calls. We haven't seen any actual collisions or anything. And definitely haven't seen him almost hit any pedestrians or anything, although this is a time of the day where people are going to lunch and that sort of thing. So traffic's a little heavier. Pedestrian traffic is also a little bit heavier. Now making a right-hand turn onto Stoneman. Now, I will say, guys, this is... he's been in this area now for quite a while. He seems to be familiar with this area, and he's been going around in circles and traveling on the same surface streets, not really having any particular plan other than maybe looking for a place that makes sense for him to dump the vehicle. And he hasn't found that as of yet, guys.
And Roland, McCollum Medina's here with me. And Mac, we've seen this driver just being so reckless, blowing through stop signs, traveling on the wrong side of the road.
And what's critical to understand is that this is concentrated right now in downtown Alhambra. These are residential streets for the most part. I mean, obviously in the business district, but these are streets where there are people crossing the sidewalks, the crosswalks there. Certainly a cause for concern for these police officers that are engaging right now in this pursuit. The concern, I think, for a lot of these folks, as we've been watching this pursuit over the course of the last 45 minutes or so, is how erratic he's been driving on the wrong side of the road. Really blowing through intersections without stopping at stoplights or stop signs.
And Roland, it seems like the tactic was to pull back, to pull off all units, but we kept seeing this erratic driving. Is that why Alhambra Police did re-engage?
I would presume, Carolyn, that's exactly what they did, was they went into surveillance mode. We'll see here whether or not any aviation unit has picked up on this. See, now he went through this parking lot before. He likes cutting that corner right there, and he's been on all of these streets before, so not quite sure what his plan is right now. But again, to your question, from all indications, it looks like Alhambra Police Department has pulled off of this pursuit so far, and perhaps surveilling it from far behind. I don't want to lose the suspect here, there's no patrol vehicles exactly behind him right now, and we're trying to determine whether or not anybody's going to pick this up.
And there he is once again on the wrong side of the road, no doubt causing a lot of concern for drivers there in the downtown Alhambra area. To regroup here, this is a pickup truck believed to be stolen. First came out of Lakewood. We're told the Sheriff's Department were trying to figure out exactly how to track this down. They were following this for a while, surveillance mode. That they pulled back, we're told, about 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. And then Alhambra Police picked this up. That's largely probably, you mentioned, it was probably driving erratically, and they wanted to pull him over for that.
And the challenge for other drivers, now that we have Alhambra Police, who've definitely backed off. I mean, we're not sure they could still be following this, but they're not near him. And we're, the other cars, people, as you mentioned, Mac, perhaps walking on the sidewalk or in crosswalks, don't necessarily know this is happening because there's no lights and sirens nearby this vehicle. And unfortunately, this driver has not slowed down and is continuing to drive so erratically. Roland, where's the driver now?
Well, he's still in the Alhambra area. He's been northbound on Alhambra, eastbound on Alhambra Road, I should say, just passing Garfield. And he just keeps going around in circles. This is probably the 4th or 5th time he has traversed these roads in the same directions, and then he'll flip around. He'll go southbound on the street that he just got through going northbound on, and go westbound on the street that he just got through going eastbound on. And there really is no particular rhyme or reason here to why or where he's going, other than looking perhaps for a place to dump this vehicle. But there are no patrol vehicles behind him. So there's really no reason, really, for him to keep driving at these kinds of speeds and going on the wrong side of the street, blowing through red lights, blowing through intersections and such. This has just been his behavior since we've picked up this pursuit.
What about the potential perhaps for spike strips? I know you said there's really no rhyme or reason, but he is staying within the same general vicinity here.
Absolutely. You bring up a good point, because anybody who's watched this for any fair amount of time would deduce that this is okay,
Yep.
let's see what he does here. Okay, backing up. He was about to go down that same alley, I think, that he went down before.
Yeah, that looks like a familiar parking structure we've seen before.
And that's the interesting thing. He's made his way near or inside a parking structure and then bolted out. That might have been a place he might have dumped the truck, but instead just kept going.
Yeah, backing in right now.
Oh, it's going to hit
he just hit that
he just hit something.
Looks like
he hit a sign or something, or a power pole.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on the other side. Let's see. Okay, we got him making a right-hand turn onto Woodward.
There's the
officers. Close call with the officers right there, if you just saw that. And he is now northbound on Garfield again. So, again, you bring up a very good point. He just keeps traversing the same roadways, the same surface streets. And anybody who's been watching this for a very short period of time would be able to deduce they've had plenty of opportunities to set up a spike strip anywhere within this community.
Well, now that he's seen police, he's obviously picking up speed again. But I think, Mac, that also points to why we saw him backing up in that alleyway. Right. He saw that officer at the opposite end. You
got to wonder now with that incident at the power pole, if police there will engage a little bit more intensely, because obviously he's driving erratically already, but now he's caused even more damage. Potentially there could be people in danger the way he's driving in the downtown roads here.
And as we look at this, Roland,
absolutely.
I'm not seeing any officers in pursuit at the moment. Are you?
I'm sorry, guys. The Simon Desk was trying to talk to me at the same time that you were talking to me. Can you...
well, I was just mentioning that I'm not seeing officers at the moment. Of course, we are seeing very erratic driving continue here, but not noticing any marked vehicles behind him at this point.
And was that sheriff's chopper just underneath you, Roland?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Guys, I'm gonna toss to you for just a second, and let me take care of some business up here. I'll get back to you.
All right. So now that we're seeing the sheriff's chopper in there, I wonder if this is elevated a little bit more.
News chopper.
Really focus on this,
well, at least we know they have surveillance from the air once again, because that had pulled off for
now he's driving on the sidewalk. This can be very dangerous because there could be people walking down the sidewalk and right onto yards there. Where the heck is this guy going? That has got to be very concerning for and now he's going the other direction.
Boy, there's no rhyme or reason to what he's doing here. And we do, as you mentioned, Mac, have eyes from the sky on this now from the sheriff's helicopter. Still not seeing Alhambra police, or at least marked vehicles, in the near vicinity of this
Simon
driver who is, again, running through lights, blowing through stop signs.
And it's very key to understand this is really centered in the downtown Alhambra area. He's not left this area for the better part of the last 40 minutes or so. As Roland pointed out, he's looping around the same exact roads. I believe this is Garfield we're on, right?
Back on Garfield.
Back on Garfield. And Garfield is just, there's tons of restaurants and places where folks could be during the lunch hour that could be impacted by this erratic driving. So that's got to be concerning for police in that area.
Is this, we have seen the driver repeatedly go to a parking structure. We've seen him drive through a parking structure a couple times, traverse down an alleyway adjacent to a parking structure. That's where we saw him back up and strike a pole in that area. And it's interesting to note he is still in the similar vicinity. I don't think we're in exactly that same area.
Yeah, McLean Street. That's about 2 blocks away from where that pole incident happened about 10 minutes ago.
He just crossed Garfield again. And here we see we're right by a school. So this raises the point of just how dangerous this is with how erratic this driver has been.
Yeah, downtown Alhambra has tons of, at least 3 schools in that vicinity, and also what looks like a lot of restaurants and local businesses that might have a lot of people walking nearby. So it's got to be very concerning for police there as they continue to try to track this guy. He's slowed down. That's certainly good right now, 25, 26 miles an hour. But his reach speed's up to 60 miles an hour once he sees police behind him. Yeah,
it's certainly something we like to see at much slower speeds and actually almost heeding a stop sign there. Roland, are you back with us now?
I am back with you.
Any developments that you can see from where you are?
Only the, and you guys made the observation that the Sheriff's Aero Bureau is back involved in this pursuit right now. And man, talk about some crazy driving on sidewalks and so forth. I'm not quite sure if this individual is stable to speak of. I mean, there's just no reason to do that at all, putting people at risk potentially who may be pedestrians and that sort of thing.
Well, Roland, talk about what we're seeing right now. He's stopped in the middle of the street, it looks like.
Right. He's on West Alhambra Road. We're just getting traffic communication that Alhambra Police Department has abandoned the pursuit for now. And so from what we know, only the Sheriff's Aero Bureau is surveilling him at this particular point. But he's okay, so we're hearing now Sheriff's Aero is also leaving. So just a crazy string of events here that is taking place and has happened. And even this individual stopping right in the middle of Alhambra Road as if he's contemplating what his next move is going to be. And then now proceeding on here eastbound, or rather northbound on Stoneman, away from Alhambra Boulevard, Alhambra Road. And this is a quasi-residential and a little bit of a commercial area. And thank God he has slowed down a little bit going through this residential area, guys.
Yeah, this is so tough, and you can understand sort of the strategy on the one hand of wanting to pull back and give this driver space, but it's also very concerning when we've seen how erratic he's been from driving on the sidewalks, going the wrong way, blowing through intersections. He did just yield here, Mac, to a pedestrian. It's
very strange. You got to wonder what's going through his head right now. Could he be under some sort of influence the way he's been driving so erratically over the course of the last hour or so? Again, stopping in the middle of a very busy road without doing anything, and now he's apparently at the stop sign, not moving again.
Yeah, and well, there he goes.
Yeah.
Okay, there he goes right there. Now left-hand turn onto, it looks like Grand. And yeah, I'm happy to see at least he would yield to that pedestrian that was crossing the street there. But again, just not seemingly trying to contemplate what his next move is going to be here. It's just, and you bring up a very good point about the, whether or not he's under the influence of something or what's going through his head. Certainly, going up on that sidewalk, I can't, no one could imagine that he's thinking clearly about anything at this point.
Yeah,
so,
and speaking of that and the lack of thinking clearly, we have this video to share with you from earlier. This is when he was trying to evade an officer at the other end of that alleyway, and you saw he just knocked over that, I believe it's a light pole right there, and then continued on his way. And you'll see here in just a moment as he rounds this corner, then there's an officer right there.
And he kept going, and the officer, and that's when he started picking up speed. He saw that officer went up to about 60 miles an hour down that stretch of what looks like Garfield Road.
Yeah, so Mac, I mean, it appears that he's stopped again here at an intersection as we look back live in the upper corner of your screen, and he's just kind of waiting there. So it's unusual behavior.
Also, what's unusual is kind of the stance of police departments right now, both Alhambra and Sheriff. He's proven again and again how erratic he's been driving. We've seen him drive on sidewalks. We've seen him drive into yards, and also hitting that power pole as well. You've got to think at some point the police department, some department's going to go in and come in with either a tactical way of putting some spike strips down, or perhaps trying to take him out by making sure he's cornered in some way in this Alhambra area where he continues to be centered.
You almost wish you could put out a warning for folks in this neighborhood that they would reach to just understand that there is this erratic driver on the streets right now. Here again, Roland, he's just stopped again in the middle of the street, it looks like. Yeah, stopped in the middle of the street for no reason at all. And, as I watch this more closely, maybe he's picking up to the fact, or has picked up for a while now, that there's media helicopters overhead. And so he's kind of ditching himself behind that
Is this
that
the
tree,
same
but
parking structure we've seen him enter before, or is this a new one?
I don't think this is the same. In fact, this is the first time I've seen him in this parking lot right here, just making a U-turn. Yeah, obviously there's a dead end right there, so he had to flip a U here and go back onto McLean Street. Again, this is probably the 6th or 7th time he's been on McLean Street. So again, a residential area here. He's gone from commercial areas to residential areas.
and using the same surface streets to try and elude capture. Of course, there are no patrol vehicles behind him, and now, again, we're hearing that the Sheriff's Aero Bureau has basically moved away from the pursuit as well. So not quite sure what the plan is and what they plan to do to try and catch this individual, or if they're just going to let him go for now. We certainly have seen that. And I'm hearing that there is another Alhambra unit that is coming into the area. They just passed him right there. So let's see what happens here, if they pick it back up again or not.
Yeah, if this causes the driver to pick up speed, and it certainly appears to be the case. I mean, we had seen this driver really keeping speeds down, and now we're approaching 60 in this residential area.
Yeah, and if you're just joining with us here at 12:20, we've been watching this slow chase, or erratic chase, for the better part of the last hour, centered in the Alhambra area. This is believed to be a stolen pickup truck, perhaps out of the Lakewood area. Sheriff's Department's engaged with air surveillance there for the better part of about 20 to 40 minutes before the driver started driving much more erratically here in the downtown Alhambra area, driving onto sidewalks, onto yards, backing up into what looked like a light pole, no doubt putting a lot of people in danger. Now it's looking like he's
into
driving
an apartment
into another
building.
parking structure.
Yeah,
Yep, into a park. Okay, this is that same parking structure, I believe, guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it'll be interesting to see if he pops back out the other side, Roland, because before...
I'm going to pull out wide to see if he does here. Of course, it's a large parking structure, and we have other ships that we have to navigate around. So let's see what he does here. Is that him? That's him again?
Yeah, he
popped
came
right
back out.
So this is Stoneman, right?
Yes, we're on actually Garfield and Elgin Street.
So here he's encountering some traffic as he's tried to...
encountering a little bit of traffic here, and now he's trying to decide, okay, did I make the wrong move here? So he's going to go ahead and make that right-hand turn. But we've been trying to see inside those windows, and almost seems anytime we do these pursuits, it's almost obligatory now for the windows to be tinted on these things. But we've been trying to look inside and see if there are more than one individual inside the truck. We have not been able to see that. But thus far, we know at least one person in there. We don't have a description of him yet, making a right-hand turn now onto Alhambra Road again.
And it's so hard to see how with those dark tinted windows. Let's show you really quickly some of the erratic driving. We saw him shortly earlier. You can see him driving right on the sidewalk there. He's going to make a right-hand turn right onto yards and then back onto the road where he just makes a U-turn very carelessly. It could really have impacted a lot of people who might have been in the area.
And Mac, this was right around the time that Alhambra police decided to pull back. Ooh, what a close call there.
Yeah, it sure was. That individual backing out of a driveway, completely oblivious to who and what is going on in his neighborhood here. And that's what we've been talking about the entire time, is there's just no reason for this driver to be driving like this. There's nobody behind him right now. So we just would love nothing more to see this thing come to an end with nobody hurt, and just have this individual be taken into custody.
And that certainly is the challenge for law enforcement here, whether to pull back or stay on this driver, because again, we're just seeing blowing through that stop sign here, no even effort to slow down and check to see if that intersection were clear.
And yes, and again, if there was just and we don't know all the communication that's going on between law enforcement agencies, but my goodness, just such many opportunities to do a spike strip in this neighborhood, and some of these streets are not heavily populated or with vehicles, so even some of these streets are a good option for potentially a pit. But we have not seen any attempts thus far on a pit maneuver or a spike strip.
At least the driver's stopping here at this intersection, because this appears to be a pretty crowded one with a lot of cars crossing.
And when you're dealing with this many agencies potentially involved in this kind of chase, they've got to wonder how their policies apply when it comes to chasing a car that, before might have not posed a real danger other than the fact that it was a stolen vehicle. But now they've seen how dangerous this driver can be by how erratic he's been driving, potentially putting a lot of people in danger. You would think that at some point here they would start using some of those practices to make sure this driver is out of commission, but we haven't seen it just yet.
Absolutely, because now we're talking about public safety, and there is no amount of pulling back thus far that has changed this driver's behavior. So from that calculus right there, you would think, okay, we have to stop this individual from doing something before he hurts someone. Certainly, for officers to be pursuing behind him, that's going to cause him to accelerate, and then you still have a public safety danger. So it is a very difficult thing to filter through for law enforcement as they try and protect lives, as they try and protect public safety. And it's a process of risk management, really, of what's going to be safe and how they can effectively stop this individual and without anybody getting injured or worse.
And pit maneuvers would be really dangerous in this residential kind of business district, but blading a strip down could easily hold them down.
I'm sorry, Matt, can you say that again?
Oh, I was just saying, utilizing a pit maneuver in a residential or a business district could be dangerous with the potential of pedestrians or other drivers around very close by, but putting a strip down could actually stop them in that area pretty effectively.
Well, I say that I talked about this pit maneuver, or rather the pit maneuver in a residential area, because right now we're on Huntington Drive. It is a mixed commercial and residential area on Huntington Drive, and look at all the real estate that this individual has. Yes, there are vehicles that could potentially be involved if they decide to pit, but there have been long stretches of surface road where they could have potentially done a pit and not impact anyone else.
Earlier, it seemed like we saw some form of sunroof or something on the vehicle, but I'm not noticing that now. Does it look like the driver might have closed that up?
Yeah, we think we locked in on another vehicle, so we're going to try and relocate him.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
As
the vehicle did look a bit.
As we refocus here, let's show you this vehicle as it was really driving dangerously into some of the roadways. There you can see driving onto the sidewalk and then onto yards over in the Alhambra area before making a U-turn and driving really dangerously on the roadway.
You can see sort of the similarities and the differences and how Roland picked up the other vehicle because they are so similar. But there is a sunroof on this one, and a cab or the back of it is fully covered.
Yeah, and it looks like he picked it up on the live picture up there on the right-hand portion of your screen. Looks like we got that there. We just got some information from Los Angeles Sheriff's Department confirming a stolen truck. Pursuit started in the Lakewood area. Sheriffs initiated the pursuit at some point, canceled it based on the driver's speeds and also the erratic driving, which continues here in the Alhambra
as we've talked about, it's a real tough balancing act because even with the officers pulling back, we've seen erratic speeds, very dangerous driving. And Roland, we see you're overhead once again.
Yeah, we were able to pick them back up thanks to the eagle eyes of my pilot, Derek Bell. So now still traversing some of the same streets. Stoneman now making a left-hand turn onto East Alhambra Road, and not at any particular excessive speed, but just wandering around on the same streets, in the same directions, changing directions occasionally. And we did see a close call just a few minutes ago with an individual that was backing out of their driveway. So no change in behavior on behalf of this driver. He's coming right up underneath us. And we're just going to pull out of the shot here just a little bit. No law enforcement behind. And again, no sheriff's area units that are overhead as well.
Right, the Sheriff's Department confirming that they, as well as Alhambra Police, no longer in pursuit of this truck. As you mentioned, no other law enforcement agency is behind that stolen vehicle as well. So he continues to run, even though he's not seen anybody behind him. It's curious to see exactly what his next steps might be.
You know, we've often thought he's going to pull into one of these parking structures and leave the car there. I mean, that would be sort of an easy way out of this, and especially now without any officers following him. So we'll see if he heads back to that other parking structure, Roland.
Yeah, you know, you almost wish he would, right? Just ditch the vehicle and get going. And let's, live to fight another day, as you will. But I'm just really concerned about this person's mental status as they continue to drive in circles here. Oh!
There you go.
Oh, dear.
cut that one vehicle off.
Was there contact? That was difficult to tell.
It was hard to tell because there was a tree in the way there. But
oh my goodness.
it just it's just ridiculous, really. I mean, that he just continues this behavior, just driving around, no reason to whatsoever. And again, like we just said, he could easily dump that vehicle and be on his way, and perhaps, like I said, fight another day.
Yeah, and here we come now. Is this the same
It looks like
area
he's
he's cut through?
Yeah,
I mean,
looks like he's
out of the
boxed in a little
vehicle
bit.
now,
running
on foot,
finally.
bailing out.
Or is
Oh, he
going
just
to
picked
pick
up something.
What is that?
Was that a cone?
No, it was like a bag
No,
of something.
it was a bag
That was strange.
on the sidewalk.
This is a corner gas station, which he's driven through before.
Yeah,
And
that appears to be the
yeah.
same station he's driven through
But he
before and
picked up
cut
something.
through.
Wrong direction,
so I
wrong
wonder if he
side
was
of the road.
waiting to do a pickup from that location. We saw him go through that area multiple times.
So we know somewhat what the description of the driver looks like, but that was a very bizarre move. I'm not quite sure if I've ever seen that before, where somebody set up a pickup of something in the middle of a police pursuit. But I can't even imagine what might be in that bag for him to pick up. But again, back to the same behavior, just traversing the same surface streets and whatnot. What's the reason for picking up something that somebody dropped off for you and then still driving around in circles?
Well, you got to wonder now if this was a part of a bigger deal. Like maybe the reason why he was circling this area is because he was waiting for that drop. Now he finally got it. Will he leave that area and go somewhere else? That's the big question right now. But then again, he just stops right now in the middle of the road, which you've seen him do before.
Right. I'm going to pull out here. This is a little bit of an intersection now, making a left-hand turn. This is Pine Street.
On the wrong side.
On the wrong side of the street, and we've seen that numerous times in this pursuit.
And for no need to be on the wrong side. There's no traffic here, so it's...
Exactly. It's just...
nonsensical.
It's just nonsensical. That's a very good word to describe it. And let's see if he leaves the area. And again, you sure wish that he would. It would almost be safer for him to be on the freeway as opposed to these residential streets. I mean, at least he's going with the flow of traffic, and there's no risk of any pedestrians being hit. But again, just an absolutely nonsensical, convoluted set of circumstances here as he continues at a relatively slow rate of speed here through Alhambra.
Well, that's something to say. At least he's traveling slowly once again, but he's really not traveling in the right lanes.
It's erratic driving we've been seeing all morning long. We're going to try to rework and rewind that video to show you that bizarre stop and pickup of what looked like a bag on a corner gas station just about 5 minutes ago. Once we get that for you, we'll play it for you again. But it could be the reason why he's been circling this area for the better part of nearly an hour now. This is downtown Alhambra. He's continuing to circle.
Isn't that the same area? He just went by it again.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So you got to wonder why he's doing that. There's police are not on his tail, at least not visibly. They're not in the air. So you got to wonder if he's going to try to make a run for it or just continue this circling until he has something to prove.
Absolutely. I mean, again, he did pass by that same corner where he did the pickup. Not certain if there's another pickup or whatever that he's going to do, but man, just a strange set of circumstances here as this all plays out here in front of us. I'm not quite sure if I've seen anybody, like I said, pick up something in the middle of a pursuit. And this is really, for all intents and purposes, not a pursuit anymore because he's not being pursued. But just very, very bizarre, guys.
We want to show that most bizarre portion of this chase thus far. Here you see the driver running out of the vehicle and picking up what appears to be a bag of some sort.
It's weird. I mean, you finally get a sense of the driver. He's wearing some dark shorts, jumps out of the car, jumps back, grabs what looks like a white bag, right? Some sort of white bag.
Yeah.
And then gets back into his vehicle and drives away.
And just to remind our viewers, this all started about an hour ago with reports of a stolen vehicle in the Lakewood area. LA County Sheriff's Lakewood Division was the lead agency at the time, and they were in pursuit till it went on the freeway. They'd asked CHP to take over. You know, there was some off and on with which law enforcement agency was going to handle this, and then everyone pulled off. Alhambra police did engage here in the city of Alhambra for a time. They have now pulled off. Roland, is that still the case? Is this no longer technically a pursuit?
It's technically not a pursuit, and it's not even surveillance mode right now. Nobody's surveilling from overhead. Nobody's surveilling from the ground. It's just it's very bewildering to allow this individual to continue to drive in this manner, threatening public safety, threatening other vehicles.
And he's back at that
private
same gas
property and so
station,
forth.
Roland.
This is that same gas station again, that same corner. And let's see what he does here.
Yeah, this is so odd.
It's one of the strangest things. I'm getting exhaust fumes here, but so a weird stop there that you just saw there, and then he just proceeded on same direction. And I presume, just because it's what he's been doing, that he will take another lap around these various streets here. And let's see what he does here.
And he's, you know, on Garfield.
Wrong
You've
side
seen
of
him
the
on
street.
Garfield so frequently, you just would hope almost that law enforcement could get in place with a spike strip here.
You would think so. I mean, he's been on Garfield so many times that if he didn't know Garfield before, he knows it pretty intimately now. I mean, because he's been on it at least a dozen times. All of these streets, in fact. He's just a left-hand turn onto Pine Street, wrong side of the road, and just absolutely crazy. Coming up to this is going to be Atlantic. Very busy street, very busy thoroughfare through Alhambra, slices right through the downtown area, and again, so you have still have a lot of lunchtime traffic and so forth that using these streets wrong way, right past that bicyclist. That bicyclist, I'm sure, oblivious to what's going on. But look at this. This is, oh my goodness, this is not. Oh, jeez. Not good at all. Not good at all. And then he gets to these areas where he just starts complying with the traffic laws. So
for the moment,
looks
then
like
he
that's not
tries
gonna,
to get through it all.
Yeah, past this traffic here, he's not going to wait. Got cross traffic coming. Now making a left-hand turn onto Alhambra Road again. So just completing a loop, guys. Really.
And you've got to just wonder about his mental awareness, considering there is no police officers following him right now. He's driving erratically for no other reason than driving erratically, and that's just causing a lot of problems. I was able to pull up exactly where that pickup was. It's a United Oil on the corner of Garfield, and we've seen him now drive past it at least 6 times, and at one time picking up what looked like a white bag.
Yeah, at times he's pulled into that lot and kind of cut through it. At other times he stopped, picked up the bag, and we've seen him just kind of go by it as well. But multiple times he's made that loop past the station.
Yep. And it almost looked as though he was going to make another pass through the driveway of the station again. But again, you bring up a good point, and it's something we've been talking about here now for the last few minutes is what is this individual's mental capacity? Is this individual under the influence of something or just mentally disturbed in some way, shape, or form? We just don't know. But what we do know is none of what we have watched now for the better part of an hour or more has made any sense. Just absolutely illogical, some of the things that we've seen. Okay, same
there it is.
Gas station again, back through the other direction.
So again, this is Garfield and Alhambra. That's the United Oil pulling in once again, and it looks like it's making a loop.
Making a loop, back outside, cross traffic coming. Cross traffic coming here. Let's see, making another right-hand turn onto Garfield.
And looping again.
And going right back into the lot here. He just looped back in.
He's still back there. I wonder if he's waiting for something there, as if he was other. It's just so strange. On one, picking up a package. Now, why is he looping back again?
This would be a perfect place to put a strike.
Right. Or get a couple of cruisers there, right?
Right, on both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides of the driveway would be a great place for a spike strip.
Oh, he's going back into
You've
the
got to
lot.
wonder what Alhambra police are thinking right now. Are they monitoring this at all, at least from watching news organizations, or are they just watching it with some cruisers nearby? That's unclear right now because we haven't seen them. They've told us officially they're not engaging in a chase.
Right. I'm not. I think they're an encrypted agency. I'm not able to hear them on the scanner, but they've got to be watching this. I mean, this is just a bunch of shenanigans going on here in the city, and I just really fear that somebody might inadvertently get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know if this individual's intentions are to hurt anybody. I want to believe that is not the case. But just by virtue of the behavior, someone may accidentally get hurt. And just, with some of the speeds we have driving up on the sidewalk and just driving so erratically, someone stands to get potentially injured or perhaps even worse.
And Roland, as we talked about before, the downside of not having officers in pursuit is other drivers in the area, other people who might be walking in the area, don't hear lights and sirens. They really have no warning. And for the moment, he's traveling relatively slowly, but that certainly hasn't been the case throughout this pursuit. Or
No.
I should say this dangerous driving.
No, it has been, it's been sort of an ebb and flow. And it's hard to determine exactly what drives this individual to accelerate, because he'll be driving 25, 30 miles an hour in a residential area, and then all of a sudden, he'll floor it for some reason and fly through a residential area.
Yeah.
It's just it is just mind puzzling, really, the behavior that we've been watching.
If you're just joining us here on NBC4 or online at NBCLA.com, we're continuing to watch right now what looks like initially started as a surveillance and a pursuit of a stolen truck out of Lakewood in the Alhambra area for the better part of the last hour or so. The truck has been driving erratically, driving onto roads, into yards, backing up into a power pole before driving through a gas station and picking up what looked like a white bag that might have been left for that person or not, but picking it up and simply looping through that gas station, as we see again and again. That's Garfield and Alhambra, where that gas station is located, United Oil, and he's been back there at least 3 times since he did that pickup.
And now, again, we see the driver slowing to a stop in the middle of an
Right
intersection.
in the middle, yeah.
Yep, no rhyme or reason here, right in the middle of an intersection. And I'm going to pull out of the shot here, see if any law enforcement's around. I don't see anybody, but just sitting there in the middle of the intersection. So you almost wonder, too, because of that pickup that he did, is he calling somebody? Is he on the phone? Is he trying to contemplate what his next move is going to be? It's just mind-boggling, really, what we've seen. And this is right now, we're at the corner of Elgin and Garfield. So again, Garfield seems to be the north-south street of choice for this individual, as well as Atlantic. And now he's just kind of creeping along right now. No particular plan or anything like that. And then we'll see him, begin to pick up speed. So it's crazy.
Yeah, if you're in the Alhambra area, you want to stay off the streets right now, especially in the area of Garfield, as we've seen this driver repeatedly on this street. And now here he's going again. Was he abiding by a traffic signal there for a change, Roland?
No. I'm not going to give this driver that much credit, to tell you the truth, because he's blown through other red lights since we've been watching this. So for some reason, I'm getting a whole lot of exhaust fumes here. Not quite sure why, but we'll try and stay on the vehicle here. But still going northbound on Garfield, and again, I'm not going to give him that much credit. He's just been driving very bizarrely since the beginning of this pursuit, really since he exited the northbound 710. And if anyone's been watching this for a while, this all began back in the Lakewood area with Lakewood sheriffs, and very quickly got onto the 710 freeway. He flew up the northbound 710 freeway. The highest speed we saw was probably about 80 miles per hour. and then exited at Valley Boulevard in Alhambra. And this is where this individual has remained the remainder of the time here.
You know what this reminds me, Roland? When this pursuit first began, or when it was still in pursuit mode, we had an Alhambra police unit behind this vehicle, as well as an unmarked one. Would it be possible that some unmarked law enforcement units could come back into play here?
Well, it's a good question, Carolyn. It really is, because I think what happens with a lot of these smaller departments is anybody and everybody who can get engaged will get engaged and try and help out. Now, I don't see that now, and that is an illustration that Alhambra Police Department has requested all officers to pull off the pursuit. So we don't see any unmarked, or at least we wouldn't be able to tell if it was an unmarked following them. But I have not seen any vehicles. Now, take a look at this here. I mean, these people here back behind them seem to clearly know that something is up here.
Right.
And look how far behind they are to the pursuit vehicle. So
yeah, that's kind of what I noticed in another portion of this about a few minutes ago. And that's what kind of raised my question, whether perhaps there were some unmarked law enforcement involved.
It's certainly feasible. It's certainly possible. And like I just described, you...
he's
out of the
Getting
vehicle.
out and he's running, it looks like.
Running. And what made him do that, I don't know. Making a right-hand turn, going it through the yard here. Let's pull out of the shot here. This is off of McLean and Garfield. Let's see.
Looks like an
Do
officer
we have
on
an
the ground.
undercover officer?
Or a neighbor, the resident.
So this is McLean and Garfield, and this is certainly an area we've seen him in before.
Yeah, we have. And these might be undercover officers. You may have called that one, Carolyn. Let's see what happens here. We have not seen him pop out. We okay, Derek? Okay. We have not seen him pop out. And here we go. It's like maybe some neighbors or
hard to say, but it
bystanders
looks
got
like
him.
they have him.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that is an interesting turn of events right there. A little bit of street justice is what's happening.
Leave it to the good residents of Alhambra
Yep.
to take down this
right?
guy,
They've
right?
probably been paying attention to this, not in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, pedal turn right there, Derek. I'm getting some exhaust fumes here. So, and a little bit of high five in there by the neighbors. And I'm not sure if they're going to hold him. Hold on, guys, while we try and reposition here, because we're getting a lot of exhaust fumes from the chopper right here. I want you to see this very clearly. And it looks like we have officers
We do
now
have
on scene.
officers, yes, armed officers. And he is assuming the position. He is down with his arms behind his back.
Well, wow, what a Hollywood ending to this one, right? So bizarre to begin with this driver driving erratically in and around the Alhambra area. And Good Samaritans, neighbors, came to the rescue, took down this guy, and now police have him under arrest.
And it's hard to tell, Roland. We see a lot of people with their cell phones, but we also see people who appear to have weapons drawn on this individual as well.
Right, they are dressed in civilians or regular clothing, that sort of thing. What a great idea. And it's something I've wondered with a lot of pursuits that we see here in Southern California is why they don't use more undercover officers to try and curtail these things. But we may have seen a combination between some Good Samaritans and some undercover officers who saw him traversing through that parking lot of that filling station several times and decided to take matters into their own hands and help give some assistance to Alhambra Police Department.
Boy, this has been a wild one for sure. And when we saw
Absolutely.
him leave the vehicle, we did not see him carrying that bag, but he could have taken any number of items from the bag that he picked up.
I think that's going to be the focus of police right now. They'll get into that vehicle and see if that bag is anywhere nearby to see exactly what it was.
Right. I'm sure they'll search that vehicle to make sure there's if there's any evidence or anything in there. And
Roland, we see him, he's being put into the officer's vehicle now. He abandoned the pickup truck. It appeared to be in the middle of that intersection, and hopefully he put that vehicle into park before he took off running.
Right, absolutely. I'm going to pull out a little bit and see if I can see that vehicle. There it is, there.
Yeah.
And so, he did the right thing there. But what a interesting conclusion to this pursuit. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before in my life. But I've got to say, I mean, a good job to the Good Samaritans that helped out the Alhambra Police Department this afternoon. This is going to be a Code 4 situation now, suspect in custody.
And Roland, we're hearing from our assignment desk that an employee at the gas station said that this is Rocket Gas, that he does not know that driver. He says they've never seen him before. It was a plastic bag that driver picked up at the corner that apparently had clothes and handkerchiefs inside.
That's interesting.
You said there was what inside?
Apparently clothes and handkerchiefs inside.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All of that, for some clothing. Perhaps he was looking for a place that maybe he could change clothes and then ditch the vehicle and then, be wearing a different set of clothes. We just don't know. But just an absolutely stunning and very bizarre ending to a pursuit now that has gone on for the better part of over an hour with Good Samaritans and quite possibly undercover police officers taking the suspect in.
We're showing the foot bail right now, Roland, when he ran from that vehicle, and we can see what appear to be neighbors, perhaps undercover officers, taking him into custody here on the grass, just a short distance from where he abandoned that pickup truck.
Yeah, and their story will be interesting to hear. We're going to, of course, follow this story certainly throughout the day. Look for an update on the NBC4 News at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock this afternoon.